Go to scariest outdoor videos. I think that might be really good. Chilling scares. Ooh, okay. Might be able to go on this one. I'm thinking this one right now. What do we think? What do we think? We should go with some chilling scares. 5 most disturbing stealth camping encounters. Ooh, I do like stealth camping encounters though. Let's be real. Oh my man, Outdoor Boys. Love the Outdoor Boys. They're so good. Yeah, no, we're gonna go with that one.
Killer encounter left him shaken to his core.
Right,
On January 18th, 2024, Ian posted.
Like, I don't understand stealth camping at all. Like, you're going camping, but you try not to be seen because you're in an area where you're not supposed to be camping. Why? Don't you just go sleep in your car or something instead? Like, you're legally allowed to sleep in your car wherever you are as long as your car is off. Makes sense. Why don't you just do it like that? But obviously, if you're planning to walk from A to B, and it takes a couple of days, then sure, camping like this, I kind of get it that way. But let's see how they get into this. That's what I want to see.
Posted a video going over the disturbing experience he had while stealth camping in a McDonald's parking lot in Palm.
In a McDonald's parking lot, just get in your car, mate. Just get in your car. Let's just stealth camping in your car. Okay, I kind of get that then.
Springs, California. Stealth camping, for those who don't know, is when someone spends the night in a vehicle or tent in an area not officially designated for camping.
I get that. But what I don't understand is a lot of places, especially in Australia, they give you leniency if you're sleeping in a car park. Because, one, you might be homeless, and my heart goes out to you. But two, and this is a big two, is that you're sleeping it off. You're having a power nap. You're sleeping because you have to continue driving the next day, and you can't go off 0 hours of sleep. You know what I mean? What would you prefer? You sleep, the person sleeping in a car park, or a person crashed on the road? That's my question.
Usually while trying to avoid detection. It's often done out of necessity, curiosity, or simply for the thrill of it. And while it can be harmless, it also means the camper is completely exposed and vulnerable to whatever or whoever might be lurking nearby. This is exactly what happened with Ian on the 16th of January 2024. He'd been stealth camping for quite some time by that point, and had spent nights in much harsher conditions, like during heavy rain or in a sandstorm.
So realistically, this guy's done a lot of this type of camping, so he knows what he's up to and he knows what he's up against. Alright, let's see.
Staying overnight in a McDonald's parking lot seemed like nothing to him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he couldn't have been more wrong. After setting everything up, he went to lie down in the back of his car. But just as he was about to fall asleep, he was interrupted by the sound of someone repeatedly trying to open his car's door. He immediately got up to see who it was, and this is what he came across.
What's going on, man? What's going on? What's
Don't
up?
get out of your car, bro.
What's up, man? What's going on? What are you doing?
Bro looks like he's trying to get into your car to steal something.
There was a man standing outside the passenger door. What made the encounter even more unsettling was that the man never said a word, even as Ian repeatedly called out to him, trying to get some kind of explanation.
Bro's just standing there because he's realized he's been caught. He doesn't know what to do. That's exactly what's happening.
For what he was doing.
Hey, bro. What's up? What you doing, man?
Did he just walk off?
Weird, bro.
Oh no.
Despite his panic, however, he made the wise decision to stay locked within his car and quickly drive to a more hidden spot in the lot. But that wasn't enough. Because just a few minutes later, Ian spotted the same man walking around the parking lot, possibly trying to locate his car.
Bro's being weird, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Fearing for his safety, he drove to a completely different location and managed to sleep through the rest of the night without any incident. Still, the question remained, who was this man and what exactly was he trying to do?
He was probably coming in to take your stuff, money, and he saw that cameras might have been set up in the car. He's like, ooh, come on. So that's probably why. He probably didn't even know you were there because you're stealth camping. You know, you're still too stealthy. He doesn't know you're there.
Ian never made a follow-up or
Man.
shared any more info regarding the encounter in the video's description, so we can only speculate on what happened that night. Now, it's entirely possible that he was just a harmless, mentally ill person who wasn't fully conscious of what he was doing. This could explain why he didn't answer when Ian called out to him and just calmly walked away without a word. However, a far more likely explanation is that the act of trying to break into Ian's car was completely intentional, and when he was caught, he just acted confused and harmless to seem less threatening.
Yeah.
Perhaps he really thought the car was empty and was trying to steal it.
You're 100%
Or maybe
right.
he
That's what I was thinking. He was too stealthy, man. Trying to steal it.
knew Ian was inside and had intentions to rob him or something far more sinister. His strange behavior also suggested that he might have been under the influence of some kind of drugs, which would have made him even more unstable and by extension more dangerous. Fortunately, Ian managed to drive away unscathed before he could find out the man's true intentions.
That's good. I'm glad.
On February 11th, 2024, stealth camping YouTuber Brendan Explores posted a video of him spending a night in the small village of Jaywick, England. The thing about Jaywick, however, is that it's been named as the most deprived town in all of England. The combination of high unemployment and poor living
So knowing that it's deprived, so high, exactly the same, high unemployment, low living conditions, that type of stuff. Seeing a nice car just parked somewhere, they'll look at it and go, oh, that's mine. Or, oh, I could probably get something out of that so I can go and sell it. Know what I mean?
conditions has pushed many of its residents toward a life of crime. Brendan, however, wanted to see the village firsthand to decide whether it was truly as bad as the media made it out to be. His first impressions of the place were quite good, with him admiring the natural landscape surrounding the village. What he didn't realize at the time was that this lighthearted escape to the countryside would soon spiral into complete disaster.
Okay.
It began with him driving through the town and searching for a discreet spot to park his van so he could settle in before it got dark.
Alright, especially that you're in a van, too. Already sets people off being like, oh, this guy works. He's either got tools or something in the back of his van that I want. That's all it is.
Eventually found a parking lot that looked promising and decided to make it his home for the night. But it didn't take long for him to start noticing a series of red flags in the area, like people riding around with gangster rap blaring from a speaker.
Okay. They're just living their life.
And a group of street racers speeding down the road right in front of the parking lot.
Yep, they're just living their life, mate. They're just living their life.
As the evening approached, he was also left alone in the parking lot, making him a prime target for any would-be robber. So, after thinking about it for a few minutes, he thought it would be best to leave the parking lot and find a more secluded spot for camping.
So
He eventually went down a dirt
nowhere
trail and
is your out the middle of bumfuck nowhere is your decision. Okay?
parked in the middle of nowhere without any houses or major roads nearby. This turned out to be the worst decision Brendan could have made in that situation, because at around 2:30 a.m., about 4 hours after he went to sleep, he was woken up by the sound of someone walking around his van.
I think someone's outside the van.
Don't talk if there's someone outside your van. If there's someone outside your van, your tent, something, don't talk. Do not give in that you're afraid. Worst decision you could make. And he turns on his camera, turns on his phone so people know that someone's in there.
2:30.
This person then tried to open the van's sliding door.
Someone just tried the door.
But before Brendan even had a chance to fully understand his predicament, this happened.
Hey!
Yep. What could I tell you? It was going to happen. You have to, if you're in America, may have peace. May have peace with you doing this. Anywhere else, I guess in Australia, I'd say maybe keep a bat with you or something. I don't know. You have to keep yourself protected against people like this, because there's people out there, man.
Whoever this person was shattered the passenger side window before running away once Brendan started shouting.
Yep.
In the video's description, Brendan speculated that this person was likely trying to steal the mini refrigerator he had on the passenger seat. While this might
Yeah, I would have done the exact same thing. If I was in that guy's position, look at a nice fridge sitting in a van. Okay.
not be entirely accurate, there's still some truth behind it. Judging by the fact that the intruder fled the moment they heard Brendan, it's likely they were simply looking to steal something, nothing more. As for how they managed to find his van in the middle of nowhere, it's entirely possible that they stalked him from when he was in town. However, given these circumstances, the situation could have turned out a lot worse. As one comment under the video pointed out, when you said you had found the perfect quiet spot after driving away from town down a quiet pitch-black lane in the middle of nowhere with nobody else around for miles, at that point I was absolutely terrified. How on earth you managed to go to sleep to begin with amazes me. A few blokes with their hoods pulled down and armed, and you wouldn't have stood a chance. While nothing truly tragic occurred, the experience was terrifying enough.
That commenter, on the money. On the bloody money.
To rattle Brendan. Instead of staying the night, he drove through the darkness until daybreak just to make it back home, which was ultimately the right call. He's still making stealth camping videos, but now he's far more cautious about where he parks, especially when it comes to remote or isolated spots. In March of 2025, a camping YouTuber named Daniel Mark Brown planned a stealth camping trip in the woodlands surrounding Oswestry, England. His plan was simple, travel alongside one of the many hiking trails in the area.
That is a creepy ass forest right there.
And then go off trail to find a good stealth spot. And this worked better than he expected, finding the perfectly hidden camping area in no time. After setting down his supplies, Daniel went to the nearby river to cook a meal before heading back to the spot he...
That's a good spot to eat a meal. If I had like a fishing rod with me or something like that, I'd cast a line right out there. Easily cast a line right out there.
Found earlier. By the time he came back, it was already starting to get dark and the trail was starting to empty out, giving Daniel the peace of mind to wind down and call it a night. However, what happened next made him realize the true danger he was in. After laying out his sleeping bag, settling down, and finally falling asleep, 90 minutes had passed when he was suddenly jolted awake.
I've 100% been spotted. Right, I'm trying to keep calm and keeping calm.
Bro decides to just start talking. Are you kidding me? You're in a small... go back to the swag, right? Look at that thing. That's tiny. If you were talking in there, they would hear you and they would come over. That's all there is to it.
90 minutes had passed when he was suddenly jolted awake.
I've 100% been spotted.
Mate.
Right, I'm trying to keep calm and keeping calm.
Nah.
I'm almost too scared to breathe here. I think a dog or something just came in.
Daniel was woken up by the cracking of branches, followed by the light from a flashlight. He eventually found the courage to unzip his sleeping bag to see who was out there.
Be quiet, man.
Oh, that's right. They're looking straight at me. I am trying not to panic.
By this point, he couldn't think of anything else to do but call out to the person who was now aiming the flashlight at him. But instead of getting a reply of any kind, the person just turned around and disappeared into the woods, never to be seen again.
That's kind of creepy. Bro literally just says, nope, and leaves. He could just be a hiker just being out there, you know what I mean?
They haven't been about, I haven't seen a single light now for maybe 5-10 minutes. I
yeah,
don't even
but
know.
they could just turn their light off and start
I think
walking
just
back
trying
towards
to
your
keep
light.
as calm as possible. But when they walked off and the light went out, I don't even know which direction they were. But somewhere in that direction. I'll forget it. Let's just go.
Yeah.
This experience startled him enough to quickly pack his stuff and hightail out of the wooded area. However, if the person with the flashlight had malicious intent, leaving the campsite wasn't going to be an easy task. No. The way they refused to respond to Daniel's hello was unsettling.
Especially how long it would have taken to get all his stuff out. That would be more than sufficient enough time for them to come back.
But how they silently turned off their light and disappeared into the woods suggested they might have been hiding, waiting to ambush him to rob him, or possibly worse. That being said, it's entirely possible that the mysterious person was just someone walking their dog at night or something else completely innocent. As for why they didn't reply
Exactly what I said. There's some person hiking.
to Daniel, it's possible they were just as scared as he was after hearing a hello from the darkness of the woods. However, we also can't rule out the possibility that they were trying to sneak up on Daniel for some sinister reason, only turning around once they realized they'd been spotted. Whatever the case may be, Daniel made it out of the woods safely without encountering the same person again.
Look, all I gotta say is at least he got out of there. Alright, a lot of people would have just been like, oh, there was some person? Okay, I'm gonna go back to sleep. But this guy actually had the knowledge to get out of there. He didn't yell at them, he didn't start screaming, saying he doesn't have a knife or anything like that, or a weapon. I don't know.
Ellie and Graham are an elderly duo from the UK who travel around the country in their camper van while vlogging about their adventures on YouTube.
Good on him.
In November of 2022, they were on one of their trips when they had to urgently travel back home due to an emergency. However, they were too far away to make it back in one day. After searching online, they found a stealth camping spot on the outskirts of a town called Altrincham. It was a fairly small car park, but the couple was in a hurry, so they didn't have any other choice but to camp there for the night, hoping
So they realistically just pulled up someplace and decided to sleep. That's what I heard. That's
to
fine.
get back on the road the next morning. What they didn't expect, however, was that this would spiral into the most terrifying experience of their entire camping journey. By the time they got to this location, it was already dark out. They parked their van and settled in for the night, going to sleep at around 11 p.m.
Okay.
But then
Nice
at
van.
1 a.m., both of them woke up to the sound of loud music blaring from a car. However, the music stopped soon after, so they brushed it off and began settling back into their bed.
Yeah, I would have had a look outside and seen like what's going on, maybe out the front window or something. But could be just some guy pulling up or starting their car and it's a lot of loud music, you know what I mean?
That's when they both heard a disturbing bang coming from their own van. It was loud enough that they thought a tree had fallen onto their van. They
Damn.
quickly rushed outside to see what had happened, and this was the shocking sight they came across.
Just can't believe it.
Oh, the
We've
side
just been
window.
woken up with a loud bang, and
They were bricked.
you dropped something on the floor there. Or was that glass? 2 bricks.
Damn, they got
Someone
bricked.
just smashed Merlin's windows while they were sleeping. So no, we don't recommend it.
Wait, did they call the van Merlin? They did. That's cute. That's actually cute.
Someone's just smashed Merlin's windows while they were sleeping. So no, we don't recommend this as a place to stop. They smashed the windscreen, but Graham's hoping he can drive with that. But here's us in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, they smashed the window and it's raining. Oh, I feel sorry for these guys.
With a broken window and a cracked windscreen. 200 miles from home.
After some
gone up.
investigation, they found 3 bricks around the van, which was severely damaged. The windshield was cracked, the passenger side window was completely shattered, and the van had a massive dent behind the sliding door. More troubling than the physical damage to the van was the psychological impact on Ellie and Graham, who were now absolutely terrified.
100%.
It's also possible that this could have been a trap.
Poor old couple, just adventuring as they do, and this happens to them. I'd be in the same position. I'd be like, do I want to do that again? Not really.
Designed to lure them out of the safety of their locked van. However, even after hours had passed, no one approached the couple, attempted a break-in, or made any kind of move toward them. But
So they stayed there, even after that. I wouldn't have. I would have left.
instead of bringing comfort, this only made the two even more unsettled. They were just attacked with multiple bricks, yet they had no idea who did it and why. After talking to the family from another camper van that was parked nearby, they learned that the attacker came in a car, as the other family heard tire screeches after the attack. Ellie and Graham also figured that this was a group effort, because despite the multiple bricks, there was only one collision sound. In other words, there were at least 3 suspects who threw bricks at the same time. Why
That's kind of rough. That's kind of scary.
would anyone attack an elderly couple out of nowhere and then leave without gaining anything from it? Maybe they
Nah,
just
it's
wanted
messed
to
up.
scare off campers for whatever reason. But if that were the case, why was the other van spared completely? Unfortunately, there's really no clues to help answer these questions. No faces were seen, no voices were heard, and no clear motive ever emerged, leaving the entire incident a complete mystery. And while Ellie and Graham were too scared to ever go stealth camping again after this incident, it seems by now
Don't
they've
blame them.
since made a complete recovery and are back on the road again.
Oh, great for them. Absolute respect to that old couple. 100%.
On the 15th of July 2022, YouTuber The Abandoned Camper uploaded a video of her stealth camping in an abandoned cemetery from the 1800s. Things started off quite normal as she found a clearing hidden in the thick foliage and began unpacking her camping gear. After setting up camp, she decided to explore the cemetery to pass the time until nightfall. And that's when things started to take a strange turn. As she was filming the gravestones, she began to hear what sounded like a bunch of kids screaming.
Where? Is that little screams in the background? That was a wolf from a dog or something. I've heard dogs, maybe wolves, depending on where they are.
She assumed she was alone in the cemetery.
Oh, was that it? Then that was dogs? Maybe a fox? Foxes make weird sounds, man.
However, she could not have been more wrong.
Raccoons?
As she was going back to her camp, she saw a group of kids in the distance who likely knew about her presence.
So
Oh.
if you can't tell,
So kids
it's
around.
pretty dark
Okay.
here
Well, that would explain the kids screaming, you know?
right now. But there are kids here, like young kids, in the cemetery. And
Don't
I'm
question
wondering
it.
how active this place actually is. Do people come here at night and kind
Don't
of
question it.
party in the
If you see young kids in a cemetery, don't question it and just leave. Straight up.
forest or something? That dog kind of ruined it. Not ruined it, I shouldn't say that. The dog barking, I didn't want to disturb anybody, especially since I'm not supposed to be here. So I think I'll finish my exploring tomorrow morning. And because there seems to be still a lot of stuff here. See?
Don't go back.
Hear them? I
Don't
think they
do
know
it.
I'm here. That's not good.
I think they're just fucking.
At this point, she was pretty certain that the kids knew
I think they're just scaring her at this point. Just trying to, you know. Kids have fun in weird ways, okay?
about her and were just messing with her. However, she still kept her camera rolling just in case, and even made sure that she wasn't followed back to the campsite.
I'm gonna keep this recording. Just in case.
Yeah, it's fair.
But I'm also gonna stop and find out what they're doing, if they're actually watching
If they're
me or
following
not.
you. Okay. Respect that.
Well, I can see them.
So they're following you.
I just don't want them to see where I'm going.
Light back there.
Okay. I think they're gone.
Once back at her stealth campsite, she started a small fire to cook her food. Unfortunately, this turned out to be a huge mistake.
I wouldn't have stayed there. You had kids like screaming and carrying along, and then they were following you, and they just walked off because they saw that you stopped. Okay, and then you continue to self stamp, and on top of the self camp, you started a fire. That is probably the worst thing you could have done.
Because shortly after starting the fire, she started hearing the sound of people talking and walking toward her in the forest.
There are people walking around back here. They don't have headlamps on, but like I said in my last video, I do not like being around people in the middle of a forest,
Yeah,
especially when it's dark out.
100%. I wouldn't want to be around random people in the forest when it's dark out. Get that away from me.
So I might pack up and get out of here
Best decision you made all day.
when I think the coast is clear.
Okay.
It's unclear what the kid's intentions were, and we likely won't ever know, as she made the wise decision to avoid any risk by packing up her things and quickly leaving the cemetery, making sure to remain as quiet as possible.
Alright. That was good. Thank you. Chilling Scares. Absolutely smashing it. Love their work. I love their work. But no, if I wouldn't go stealth camping in the middle of a forest if I, didn't have to. I've gone to campsites and stuff like that before, but I wouldn't just go set up shop wherever. You kind of need to have an understanding of where you are and kind of more of an idea than just showing up somewhere and camping.